Shalom, everybody, and welcome back to Insights on the Parsha of the Week, Parshat Korach, and also Chodesh Tov. It's now Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, where we're entering a new era of the year, a new section of the year, which will ultimately be a preparation for next year's Rosh Hashanah, Bezrat Hashem, and we're hoping we can pass these times with the right attitude, doing the right thing, having complete, unswerving faith in Hashem and in his tzaddikim at the caliber of Moshe Rabbeinu. That's the whole problem with this week's Parsha Korach. Last week's Parsha Shlach is the difficulties in having faith in Moshe Rabbeinu, that he is an authentic prophet and leader, and everything he said is in line 100% with Hashem. And that's our key through all the trials and tribulations, is we must also have faith in the tzaddikim while we go through difficult situations, and not to doubt, to have faith and to believe, and that's how we can eventually make it Bezrat Hashem. So this week's parsha, like we said, is a bit rigid, a rough ride. It starts off with Korach, who wants to rebel against Moshe Rabbeinu, doubting everything he did retroactively, saying we all were at Har Sinai, we all heard the commandments of the first two commandments of Anochi Hashem Elokecha and Lo Yeh Lecha Elokim Acharim, that God is the Lord, you can't have any other idols. We all heard that, so we're all holy. Why do you have to rule over us? You, as the like the king. Moshe Rabbeinu was like a king. Vahi Bishur Melech, the verse reads, he was like a king, and your brother is the high priest, the Kohen. So and then you choose Elitzaphan to be the leader of the tribe of Kehat, which I'm from. I should be the one, so I'm going to rebel. Obviously, there's a lot of depth in Korach's reasoning and argumentation and everything, but he lost. He was swallowed up in the earth with the 250 Sanhedrin from the tribe of Reuven, plus thousands were killed with their earth swallowing them up. And then there was the plague by the Jews who remained. Those who also, after remaining, began to say to Moshe Rabbeinu, you and Aaron killed the Jewish people. And then Aaron had to going out to put on the Torah, the incense, and through that stopping the angel of death from killing, because the angel of death revealed to Moshe Rabbeinu that the Torah is so powerful, the incense is so powerful that it can stop death, which is actually what happened. And then after all this, and after all this damage, Moshe Rabbeinu tells the Jewish people, collect 12 sticks from like a tree that's not producing any fruit, a dry branch, 12 branches. Some say they were from the same branch cut into 12, okay? And also Aharon, representing the tribe of Levi, will also have a branch. And we'll put them like in a type of a jar, a big basket, before Hashem. And through this, Hashem will show who's the chosen one. Whoever branch sticks out will show that that person is chosen to be the high priest, okay? You guys want to know who's the high priest? Okay, let's see. You're fine. You doubt my telling you that Aharon was chosen as the high priest. Fine, I'll show you that it was from Hashem. Okay, so they have 12 branches. That's one opinion, plus Aharon, 13. Okay, they were placed in the Mishkan in the desert. The next day, they came and they see each branch had the name of the tribe. Right, so you had Reuven, Shimon, Levi. Okay, so you know what each tribe and the chief of each tribe is one who brought the branch. So we saw in the day that the branch that had Levi, which were representing Aaron, the verse reads like this. This is now chapter 17, verse 23. Vahimi machorat, and it was the next day because they put them there overnight. Vayavo Moshe el Oel Ha'edut, and Moshe Rabbeinu came to the tent of meeting, which is inside the section of the Hechal. Parach mate Aharon levet Levi, and behold, this amazing wording, vehine, and behold, it flourished, it blossomed, the staff of Aharon to the house, to the tribe of Levi. And it says vayotze ferach, and something supernatural happened, so that you can't deny this. A flower blossomed, came out, vayetzetz tzitz, and the beginning stage of the fruit began to show. Vaigmol shkedim, and appeared on the branch, fully ripened, like Rashi says, almonds. Okay, so these are three stages in the growing process of an almond, but all three were there at the same time simultaneously. You had the flower, which is the beginning stage of a fruit. It was still there on part of the branch. Next to it was a not yet fully developed almond. Vayatzetz tzitz began to be blossoming out the actual fruit. And then Vaigmol, Gmila, means complete, like a child. Vaigamal, a child who's fully nursed, we call the Gmila. Vaigamal, and has been nursed and fully nursed, fully released, the Shkedim. So what's going on here? We have to see the depth, Shkedim, Tzitz, Perach. Okay? The Midrash says like this, that these stages refer to the blessings given to Aharon and his descendants, the Kohanim. Perach is like a flower that comes out. The Midrash says, so in the merit of this flower blossoming on the branch, Aaron's descendants to have what's called Pirchei Kehuna. Pirchei Kehuna are the young Kohanim being initiated, and they're like blossoming, like flowers. They're going to become ripened, become fruit. They're developing. They're not yet starting like little children. Okay, so they're called Pirchei Kehuna, the young Kohanim, young priests. Vayatzetz tzitz, in the merit of the almond beginning to sprout. Vayatzetz, metzitz means like to peek out, like it says in Shir Shirim, metzitz min acharakim, peeking from the cracks. Hashem is peeking from the cracks of in between the fingers of the Kohanim. When the Kohanim are doing the blessings, divine presence is as if to say peeking. We don't peek. We're not allowed to look when the Kohanim are giving their blessings. But Hashem is metzitz min acharakim. Hashem is like peeking, as if to say by Hashem, between the cracks between the Kohanim's fingers when doing the priestly blessings, and by doing so giving blessing to Am Yisrael. So that's the word vayatzetz, is the initiative stage of the beginning of the fruit. But then there's an extra word, tzitz. Just say vayatzetz. Why vayatzetz tzitz? So the tzitz, the Midrash says, refers to the tzitz, which is the forehead band, which is like a crown going around the entire head of Aaron HaKohen, the high priest. You had on the frontlet on the forehead up to here, with strings attaching it all the way to the back and over, like a crown sitting. Okay, so he merited to the tzitz, the Kohen Gadol. Vaigmol shkedim. The word shkedim means almonds. Why are shkedim called almonds? So why are almonds called shkedim? Because shaked means someone who's consistent and determined to continue. So Vaigmol Shkedim, the Kohanim and the Beit HaMikdash had to be on the run. They couldn't be lazy. They couldn't be sleeping behind. They had to be on the run in the service of the temple. With all the ups and downs going through a person in their life, even Kohanim, even at the time of the Beit HaMikdash, they had to be on the run. In order to do the service of Beit HaMikdash, they had to be on the run, Shkedim, like someone who's consistent. So they got the blessing of being consistent in the temple. Let's go a step further in this beautiful pasuk. And let's take a look from the perspective that Rabbi Nachman gives for every Jew in lesson 24. In lesson 24, Rabbi Nachman talks about the immense power of being happy and doing mitzvot with happiness. Now, first of all, to be happy means to take a look at the difficulties of life, not as like a pushback and it's finished, and despair and depression and it's over, but rather taking a look at life's difficulties as challenges to pass, that if you pass them, you will come to tremendous reward. And there's what to be happy about when you're being challenged. That means Hashem wants you. Hashem's calling you to come forth, and it comes in the forth of like a rod, a staff hitting you, as if you can see it as suffering. Why is Hashem punishing me? Why is Hashem doing this to me? But the reality is Hashem is not doing this to you to punish you. Hashem is doing this to bring out your potential. And it all depends if you are able to decipher the difficulties, the being hit in life, as a sign of positivity, as something good, and therefore with simcha, to view the situation through simcha, especially the simcha that knowing that there's something good behind this thing. It's like a piñata. The Mexicans have a piñata that the more you hit it, you crack the piñata and the candies start coming out. So too, the hitting of life is synonymous with the piñata, that there's goodies coming out. You just have to be patient, know how to look at it, and you can be happy b'ezat Hashem. So when you are managed to take things b'simcha, and then take that joy and put it in your mitzvah observance, you don't say, Why should I put on tefillin anyways? If anyways everything is futile. You don't say that. You say it's true. I'm going through crazy things, but every good that I can grab to connect to Hashem is like a lifesaver to pull me out. And when you do that, and you do it b'simcha, and you appreciate, you look at every mitzvah as an opportunity to help you. Instead of saying, "Oh, I'm going to put on davening again, put on my tefillin again, put on my tzitzit again," rather you say, "What a beautiful zchut, what a merit to put on the tefillin, the tzitzit, to say the words of the prayers, even though it's heavy and mixed up, but still I'm doing it. What a merit for me to be a Jew, to have peyot, to have a beard, to have a circumcision, to keep Shabbat, to do mitzvah, to do tzedakah, to do blessings, to learn Torah, to daven, to help another Jew." There's hundreds of mitzvot. There's 613 and their extensions, which can lead up to a few thousand mitzvot extended from the 613 bulk core mitzvot. Okay, you have tons of mitzvot developed. Okay, so I have so much to be happy about if you do them with the right attitude, not as a burden. Oh, here we go again. Rather, you're happy about doing it. So this simcha activates momentum, pulls you out of the darkness, and when you're pulled out of the darkness, you can then activate what's called blessings. Okay, blessings come through the concept of the hands. Hands are the humankind's main vehicle of action. When we do things, normal people, and we're talking about handicapped people, but normal people do things with their hands. If it's writing a check, if it's typing on a computer, if it's baking bread, whatever, you do things with your hands, not just your mouth and your eyes and your ears. The main thing is asiyah, is of the hands. So when a person now is besimcha doing the mitzvot, it activates his hands, meaning he's in a positive attitude to do. To do also means to do chesed, to do for others, to do mitzvot, but to do others, okay? That becomes a key for bracha. You now merit to activate blessings. That's the idea of the hands representing blessings, because the idea of hands and blessings is now I want to do good for other people. I want to do good for not just for me. I don't want to be selfish anymore. I want to be helpful and outgoing. When you have that attitude of doing good and doing mitzvot, you activate bracha. The main bracha being reaching what's called the keter, the infinite light. The darkness that I was initially in was due to a lack of infinite light shining into my life. Now with the brachot of the hands, I can activate what's called the keter, and the keter is the key, like this crown. It's called the keter. Highest level interface between us and Hashem's infinite light is a key for shining into us infinite light. And now the infinite light comes in the format of more setbacks. But the thing is now, I'm more able, because of the prerequisite simcha that I have, that reached me, that brought me to this point, I'm more able to take the setbacks and through them develop consistency in serving Hashem. No matter what I go through, I don't fall off totally. Even if I get pushed off everything, I'm holding on, I get back up and I continue. That's consistency. All these ideas are hinted to in this verse. Okay, let's take a look at this beautiful verse. And it was the next day, Vayihi. The word Vayihi normally is something which is like woe. Like it says Vayihi b'mei Achashverosh. Anyone says Vayihi is something which is negative. So Vayihi b'machorat, meaning the next day, oh no, what's waiting for us? It's like in a way, a negative attitude. But instead of something negative, blessing happened. Vayavo Moshe el ha'edut. So Moshe Rabbeinu went to the tent of meeting, okay, in order to retrieve the sticks that were put there, the 12 plus 1. Vehine and vehine. The word vehine in this week's parsha appears many times. Coming up, if you take a look at an upcoming verse, which talks about the priestly blessings, the 24 blessings that the Kohanim get. In other words, the gifts. Sorry, not in the blessings, but the 24 gifts that the Kohanim get. So the parsha starts off beautifully. This is chapter 18, verse 8. Vaydaber Hashem el Aharon. And so Hashem spoke to Aaron. Rashi said, didn't speak directly to Aaron. He spoke to Moshe to tell Aaron, Ve'ani hine natati lecha et mishmeret chumotai lechol kodshe b'nei Israel. And I, behold, I'm giving to you, this is part of the gifts already, the mishmeret of the trumot, to guard the trumot. In other words, you receive the truma from the offerings of the Jewish people. You get the truma that's lifted up from the fruit that require truma, the grains that require truma, etc. Lechol kodshe b'nei Israel. And then the Torah goes on to list all the blessings. But Rashi points out, look at Rashi's wording, beautiful. Okay? Va'ani Hine natati lecha besimcha. Hashem says to Aaron, Moshe tell Aaron, I behold have given to you Aaron and your descendants with joy. So Rashi points out, Lashon Simcha Huzeh. This format of saying Hine is a language of joy. Hine, it's behold, it's ready for me to give to you. Kumo, like we find, Hine hu yotze likratecha v'ra'acha v'samach belibo. Where else do you say Hine? Amazing. When Moshe Rabbeinu doubted to take the mission to redeem the Jews out of Egypt, and he said, why are you taking me, Hashem? I have a brother older than me, 3 years older than me. He's already your prophet. Aaron is already a prophet in Egypt. Take him. Plus, he's going to be jealous. He's going to, what? My younger brother is better than me? So Hashem says to Moshe, you underestimate the greatness of your brother Aaron. You'll see that when he sees you coming back to Egypt to be the messenger to redeem the Jewish people, behold, he'll come out to greet you, because Aaron went out to greet Moshe at the border in Egypt, out of Egypt. He will go towards you, and he'll see you, and not like you think. He'll be happy in his heart. He'll have such joy. You have been chosen to redeem the Jews. I am so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. And the Rashi brings down that because of his true joy and not being jealous, not saying, oh, if I can't make it, then he can't make it. He didn't say that, Aaron. He said, wow, if I can't make it, at least the other guy should make it. If my younger brother is better than me, that he can be chosen, so let it be. So because he had such simcha, he was chosen to become the high priest and have the breastplate, the Urim V'Tumim, and the Choshen over his heart. Because his heart was such a good heart. Aaron's heart was the heart of someone who's always looking to help other people and give people. People like that, everybody loves. Everybody loves people who you can talk to them openly. You feel so good about them. You want to do for them also because they're so outgoing. They're so friendly, not like tough and making you feeling rigid and stressed and crazy. They're so comfortable. You can do anything around them and it doesn't bother them, and then you just respect them even more. So so the verse there also says Hine. Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu, Hine, behold. It's not like you think. Aaron's going to come greeting you with joy. So Rashi uses this as a proof that the word Hine represents joy. So in our context, back to our verse, okay? Again, verse 23, chapter 17. V'hine, behold, out of joy. What was the joy? Parach mate Aharon levet Levi. The staff. What is a staff? A staff is normally what you use to hit people with, right? The staff represents the difficulties that a person goes through in life. Yet, Aharon's staff, of his difficulty, he was able to take it with simcha, not as a negativity. He didn't take the staff, which represents dryness, because it's like a dry staff. It's not a fruitful staff. It's a staff that doesn't produce fruit. It was a dry staff, indicating you use a stick to hit and beat people. So the suffering, dry, I don't see anything to be happy about. Yet he took it b'simcha. So because he took it b'simcha, parach, it produced something unnatural and had a production. There is a continuity from the staff of something good. Something is blossoming from this staff of Aharon from the house of Levi. Aharon, who's chesed, from the house of Levi. Levi in the Kabbalah represents the idea of gvurot. That even though he's from the tribe of gvurot and he should be tough, he's so happy and appreciative. He transforms the staff into hine, okay? Hine, parach mataron levet Levi. And the result is now, like we said, that when a person does mitzvot b'simcha, he then has momentum. Things began to blossom. There's blessing. So vayotze perach, first stage, he merited that now from his joy in serving Hashem with joy. Vayotze perach, there's now a blossoming. There's blessing. That's the idea of the hands. And then vayatzetz tzitz. Vayatzetz tzitz, we said, like the Midrash says, refers to the tzitz, with the frontlet plate over the Kohen Gadol, which is like a crown. It sits on that like a crown. So because he activated perach, there's a blossoming, there's blessing, bracha. Vayatzetz tzitz, as the second stage comes to the keter, and as a result of the tzitz, vayigimol shkedim, the reward of activating the keter in your life and having infinite light shine into you and help you in the difficulties. No matter what you go through, you have consistency. One of the greatest goals of this world is to be able to continually serve Hashem through thick and thin, through ups and downs, to have a continuity, holding on to do whatever you can do and not to be broken because of it. This reminds me of a story of an elder, a Breslov elder of the previous generation, of Shmuel Shapira. Shmuel Shapira had this disease of his nerves for about Parkinson's disease for his last 13 years of his life. So his last 13 years of life, he was slowly going into Parkinson's until before he passed away, he could barely move. Okay? And in the beginning, he was able to walk still and go to the mikveh. But towards the end, he needed a lift to pick him up, to take him by car to the mikveh, which was only 2 blocks away from his home. But he couldn't even walk to do that. So and they knew, the Breslovers knew how important it was for him to go to the mikveh every day. And if not every day, then before Shabbat. So they would work very hard to take him to the mikveh. But then, even before he passed away, he couldn't even do that anymore. So once in this period, when he was like sitting in his chair or sitting in bed at home, and it was a Friday, and he couldn't go to the mikveh anymore, he asked his wife, Rebbetzin Frida, she asked him, has Yusha Ber, that was the guy who came with the car, the Breslover, Rabbi Yeshua Dov Rubinstein, is he coming? Has he come by? And she said to him, Rabbi Shmuel, why are you asking? You know you can't go to the mikveh. So he said, at least I can ask. The least I can do is at least ask if he's coming. You know, he wants to be yotzeh, that he's like doing something for the mikveh. So he said, at least I can ask if he's arrived. So I have that part. So this shows consistency, that even if a person can't do, but he does what he can. He doesn't say, if I can't do it, so I just drop it totally. Most of us are like that, and it's very difficult. But the blessing of activating the keter is that you maintain consistency no matter what situation you're in life. And that's the idea of Vaygmol Shkedim. So this pasuk is revealing the blessing of activating the tzitz. It comes through Perach HaBracha, and the Perach comes through Vehine, which is Simcha. By being B'Simcha, you take the mateh, the stick that seems to be hitting a person, he thinks it's suffering and suffering, why does Hashem make me suffering? But it's not suffering. It's like a piñata, there's candies in here. So I take it B'Simcha, and by that transforming it as a Perach, it begins, Vehine Parach, it begins to blossom. Something which is dead begins to show signs of life and hope and fruition, and then this leads to the stage of the bracha activates eventually the keter, and when you have the keter, you get the greatest gift is having consistency. Vaygimol shkedim. Rav Nosson writes in Rabbi Nachman's wisdom, Sichot Haran, that even when Rabbi Nachman was very, very sick with his tuberculosis, which was killing him, he passed away young at age 38 because of tuberculosis for about 3.5 years. Still, Rav Nosson writes, Rabbi Nachman was very insistent on doing his best to sing all the Zmirot, all the Shabbos melodies at the Shabbos table. Even if he was in pain and he was suffering and he couldn't breathe, he worked so hard just to do something to continue to do. That's the idea of consistency no matter what. And these tzaddikim, obviously through their consistency, they're rewarded like crazy. A person has such reward. You say, what do you gain by doing that? Rosh Moshe, what do you gain by asking? There is a gain. There's a gain, and that only someone who's perceived the keter in life can understand what that gain is. We should be zoche, to be gomer shkedim, to produce shkedim, which means consistency. But that comes about that a person knows how to take the setbacks in life properly. Most people who get hit, who are sad and depressed, and then they get hit, they drop everything. But the people who are besimcha, even if they get hit, they have this gift of being consistent no matter what. No matter what they're going through, they continue holding on and doing their best no matter what. I'll do what I can do, and I won't drop it all. These are people who are retroactively showing that this is because of their simcha, because they have hineh in their life. They activate behold, and they're able to take the mateh in a proper vein. That's what eventually leads them to have gemilut of shkedim, where they're able to have lishkod al dalte Torah, to be consistent in Torah study, in prayer, in serving Hashem. Shabbat shalom and chodesh.